Okay, eighth grade, pages 154 to 155. We just finished the lottery. We also looked into some roots. Okay, oh, fix my camera. We did some language development. We looked at synonyms and antonyms of different words. We looked at the roots CIV and LIBER, so sin and liver. Okay. And then we also did writing. We took a look at one character, analyzed their attitude about the lottery. Okay. And now we're getting into the second half of the workshop. Okay. Usually we end with the writing, start with a new workshop. This time we're going to dive deeper, get a deeper understanding of dystopia, and introduce some new vocab. So let me share my screen. Oh, let me get this on the other page. There we go. Okay, so 154 to 155, I can use vocabulary about a topic and think deeply about concepts to come up with related examples. I can use complete sentences and precise words to define the workshop concept, dystopia. I can deepen understanding of a concept by exploring synonyms, word families, common phrases, examples, and non-examples. Okay, you have a do now. So one genre that I like to read is blank, because blank, the first blank you're going to fill in with a genre. I gave you some examples down at the bottom. And then don't forget your because. Today we will dive deeply into the concept of dystopia. We'll also build content area vocabulary to help us better understand the text in the second part of this workshop. Okay, so I'll switch over to my Elmo now for these slides. Of course, these slides follow along as well. Yeah, you can use the video and use the slides. Okay, so they'll follow right along. So let me pop that up. There it is. Okay, so dystopia. Let me zoom in. This is page 154, so let's take a look at that. Okay. Now it also goes over part 2. It gives you a little picture of each of the 3 texts that you'll be encountering in the second part of this one. This is where we're going to dive deeper into dystopia, this side. Okay. So make sure that you're pronouncing dystopia correctly. We will look at the definition. Of course, we have an example sentence. We'll look at the characteristics of a dystopia, examples, non-examples, and then your sentence. Now, what I want you to do for the definition is I want you to use context clues that are in this sentence, the example sentence, to complete this sentence, the actual definition. Okay? So some science fiction movies take place in a future dystopia where oppressive leaders rule by taking away individual freedoms. And actually, you can use a lot of these context clues to fill in a lot of this stuff down here. Okay, so let me grab one more thing. So the first one, like for example, imagine a place where people are blank and do not have blank. You can get right from that definition. Okay, you can get context clues, come up with your own words. Okay, the characteristics. There are some stuff within this page that I did help you with on the slides. So make sure you look at that. One of them was the novel. Okay. Sometimes I gave you the first sentence, and that helps you with the other sentences. Okay. So we'll go back to the slides in a second. Then they do have non-examples. So this is where your thesaurus will come in. Okay. So if you, for example, type in oppressive or taking away, and think of your vocabulary as well that we've talked about even on a few pages prior with the liver. We talked about liver and some words that go with that because that has a specific definition that will help you with the non-examples. So type in oppressive or type in taking away or take away. And then look for that antonym. Remember, we practice that. The synonyms will be first, and then below it, they'll list antonyms. Okay. And then your sentence. Okay. They also gave on the side just some common phrases: futuristic dystopia, dystopian society, dystopian literature that you would hear. And then, of course, word families. We've talked about this. If you know word families, then that helps you. DYS, dis, comes from Greek. That prefix means bad, hard, or unlucky. Hence, dystopia. So, topos, Greek root place. Dystopian is an adjective. And utopia is a noun. Remember, utopia is the opposite. Utopia is where you live very happy. Everything's good. Okay, so dystopia is a hard or unlucky place. Bad place. See, it all comes full circle, kiddos. Okay, on the slides, I gave you all of these definitions. Okay, so make sure you copy those in. I'll reference that before I end this video. Make sure you rate your word. The rating scale's at the top again. 1, 2, 3, or 4. So once you have the meanings filled in, okay, make sure you're looking at the part of speech as well. Make sure you have the definitions filled in, and then you complete your own sentences. Okay, so let me go back to the slides and reference what I was talking about. Okay. So for 154, I have the directions for 154. And then to help you out, okay, just remember a reminder to use the context clues. I gave you an example for one characteristic. Okay, so use that. And then this is where I filled in a little bit of some. So dystopian movies, books, series are very blank. Okay, your blank can be a synonym of what a context clue from the first sentence given to you. That's where I helped you out the novel there for the examples. And non-examples, okay, helped you out a little bit there. In a dystopia, people who question authority, disobey teachers, break the rules, any of those would work, are likely to be blank. You have to fill in the blank. So what's the consequence? What's the result? That's a cause and effect. And I say consequence because, it's a cause and effect. Okay. And then there's your definitions. Okay. Now those are the complete definitions. So fill in the words that are missing. And then, of course, you do the sentences. Okay. Okay. Excellent. And then we'll get started with those other stories. I can't wait to read The Hunger Games. I always enjoyed that movie.